Well, President Biden has not responded to Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky's latest request for U.S. officials to create a no-fly zone over his country.
Zelenskyy made an emotional appeal to Congress to establish a humanitarian no-fly zone over his nation. Mr. Biden has previously said such an action could ignite World War III because it would force NATO countries to enforce the space, bringing them potentially into direct contact with Russian forces.
Joining us now for more on this is Bryan Clark. He's a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute in Washington, D.C. So, Bryan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
While President Biden is not giving in to his no-fly zone, he is sending more aid, including defensive weaponry. Can you explain how the U.S. is determining what is defensive versus offensive weaponry and how Ukrainians will use them to fend off Russian troops?
Well, Carter and Lana, it's great to be here. It's an interesting distinction, right? Because an offensive weapon generally is seen to have a longer range maybe than a defensive weapon. So the weapons we've been sending are ones that are relatively short range. They're operable by people with little training. Now, that's a key element of it. As we just heard from Intiaz on the ground, people are taking, coming off the street and being armed. And so you need a weapon that's relatively easy to operate. So those are a couple of characteristics of the weapons that we've been sending over there. The latest shipment of weapons at the latest aid package is going to include one weapon, though, that's going to require more training, which is the Switchblade 600 UAV, which is a lethal unmanned air vehicle, which is basically a small handheld drone that has a warhead on it that you can steer and hit targets with. That's a little bit more sophisticated. That will require some training that folks can do on the ground. But other than that, the Javelins and Stingers we've been sending to them are more or less fire and forget type weapons. You just point and shoot at whatever the target is.
Bryan, it's interesting. I really appreciate you talking about what requires more assistance and what like the Switchblades actually require a lot of training. Beyond shipping military weapons to the country, are there other things that U.S. officials can do to help Ukraine as possibly an alternative to creating a no-fly zone, or ultimately are we going to really have to consider that as an option?
So there's obviously the concern about escalation, Lana, when it comes to a no-fly zone, because we will have to engage Russian troops. One of the issues with a no-fly zone is you have to take out the air defenses that an enemy might have, arrayed in the area you're trying to, to set off as a no-fly zone. That was a big issue in Iraq. Most of the attacks done in Iraq during the no-fly zones there were against air defense systems on the ground, which is what Russia has in place, at least in the northern and eastern parts of Ukraine. The bigger issue, though, is that Russia's not flying that many airplanes into Ukrainian airspace. So a no-fly zone wouldn't really accomplish very much, because most of what we're calling airstrikes in Ukraine right now are actually missile strikes being conducted from either Russian airspace or from the ground. So a no-fly zone wouldn't really accomplish that much with airplanes. What's more important maybe is to add more air defenses into Ukrainians' military so that they can protect their own skies and maybe defend them against some of these missiles that are coming over from Russia or that have been launched from the ground.
That's interesting, too, because there has been some discussion about whether or not that would be seen as provocative to Vladimir Putin. We'll wait to see how all of this plays out. Bryan Clark, appreciate your observations, though. Thank you.